Activity today. So what you're going to do is you're going to look further into your mealworm or your organism, and you're going to report some information about them. So this is the format that you'll be using to complete your research or your activity. You might actually be looking at a mealworm or actually be looking at your, I don't know, your gecko or your chicken or whatever it is that you have decided to look at, maybe an octopus or something like that online. And then you'll be reporting some information because we are going to start really looking at how organisms interact with their environment, whether the environment has living things or non-living things in it, and how organisms can survive. So here's the title of our assignment. It is observe a plant, animal, or insect and record data. It's a lab or an activity, okay? If we were in class, we would be doing this with mealworms. If you're not in class or doing this with a mealworm, then you're doing this with some other organism that you're able to maintain or contain in a habitat, or look up information online. Again, as a scientist, your job is to collect observational data on a living organism. Your task is to observe a plant, animal, or insect and record the data that you observe. So we're making observations again. Some of the details you might observe and record means write it down, include the size, color, markings, shape, texture, sound, does your organism make a sound? Smell, does it have a sense of smell or does it smell funny? How does it move? Movement. Follow the format below to report your observations on notebook page 18. So here's the format. You're going to list your organism, so you're just going to list the name of your organism, and then you're going to describe your organism. This could be 2 or 3 sentences, okay, about your organism. And then I want to know what other organisms does this organism interact with naturally, like does it live in a tree, so it lives with another plant, right? Or what does it eat? Does it eat other animals? Does it eat mealworms? Does it eat grain? What does it eat? Naturally, okay? So what does it consume? Does it have any predators, or is it a predator? Does it live with other organisms? Well, of course it does, because organisms interact with other organisms. So which ones does it interact with? The other thing you could do for this section right here, instead of answering all of these questions, all you would need to do is complete a food chain with your organism in it. Okay, this could just be a picture of a food chain with your organism in it. Okay, then you're going to draw a diagram of your organism. We use this word a lot. Diagram means a picture with labels. This is very important. You need to label at least 5 body structures that your organism has. Maybe it has feet or a tongue or an ear, legs or toes, or roots or a trunk or chlorophyll or something like that. And I want you to use color if you can. Please, it's okay if you are going to cut and paste something from the internet, a picture of your organism. That's fine with me, but make sure you have 5 labels, okay? If you're just going to draw it and you're going to put it in color, please use colored pencil because markers bleed all over the place and they're just messy. So please use colored pencil, make it as realistic as possible. I don't want any purple opossums or orange zebras, okay? All right. Then I want you to list 3 quantitative observations. Remember, these are measurements, right? So like the number of legs, number of arms, how many stems does it have, how many leaves does it have, roots, height, how tall is it, how long is it, or how tall can it get, or how long is it now, or how long will it get, or how much does it mass, like this is the weight on Earth, same number, okay? How many grams or pounds does it weigh, all right? So these are measurable, remember, quantitative. So then I would like you to list 3 qualitative observations. Does it have fur? Does it have an exoskeleton? What's the texture, right? Does it smell funny, right? Okay, so when you're doing this, this is the format of how to gather your information. The next thing you need to do is complete your notebook. So there are two options this time to complete your notebook. This is how you're going to submit it. So in your notebook on page 18, this is an 8. I know it's kind of sloppy, but it's an 8. You can see it's page 18. On page 18, our learning target is I can describe the anatomical features of an organism and how it interacts with its environment. So anatomical just means like legs, arms, body parts. And how it interacts with its environment is really just a food chain, okay? So you can do this whole page by hand, or you have another option. So let me go over this page first, and then I'll talk about the second option. So if you're working with a mealworm, and we'll just use mealworms for the sake of discussion, then you'll put the mealworm here, or you'll just put the title of your organism here, the name of your organism. Maybe it's a horse or a unicorn, I don't know. Not a unicorn. That's not real. Okay, so you're going to describe your mealworm here. So instead of writing describe it here, you're just going to describe it. Okay, it's probably going to take about 2 or 3 sentences. And then after you're done with that, you're going to describe the other organisms that the mealworm interacts with naturally and how it interacts with them. So this is either going to be 2 to 3 sentences. And you're going to answer like, where does it get its energy? What consumes it? Is it predator, right? Or you can draw in a food chain that includes a mealworm. Underneath that, I want you to draw a diagram of a mealworm. Remember, a diagram is a picture with labels. So label at least 5 body structures and use color if possible. You don't have to label it as a diagram. Just draw your mealworm here and label 5 body structures and color it if you can. Then, if you are doing this by hand, you may or may not have room at the bottom of your notebook for 3 quantitative and 3 qualitative observations here. I hope you do. If you have space, you can do both. Please do. If you don't, then either list 3 quantitative or 3 qualitative observations here. I just want you to be able to fit it on your page, but minimally you need 3 observations here that really help us describe and identify your organism. All right, option 2. Here's what your other page can look like. If you want to cut and paste this particular format out because you took notes on it and wrote everything in here, then you absolutely can cut this out and paste it on page 18. Make sure that I can see everything clearly. Okay, I don't want you to have to like take notes twice and then like put it on here and then put it on your notebook. It's completely up to you. So your second option is to make your notebook page look like this. All right? All right, you have a couple of days to do this. Take your time, do it right, turn in quality work. Like work that if I was going to show everyone in the world your work, that you would be proud of, okay? That looks different for everybody, but make sure you're doing your very best work reporting on your organism. All right, enjoy your afternoon. See you soon.